togetherness, reliving the memories that we created working here, and having lots of fun. Hope you all are excited for this. Now I would like to start this program by inviting our esteemed dignitaries onto the dais. Dr. K. Parvati Kumar Garu, and I would like to invite Mr. A. Satyanarayana Murthy Garu to present him with a bouquet. CA CV Ramana Rao sir, and I would like to invite CA Krishna Kumar Sabat to present him a bouquet. CA MV Satyanarayana Garu, and I would invite CA Srinivas Mohan sir to present him a bouquet.
Thank you all. With this warm and affectionate felicitation, let us start a program with blessings of God. I invite CA Shravya, CA Lavanya, and CA Roja Ramani to render the prayers.
నమస్కారం.
महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि, महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि, वसिष्ठवामदेवादिवन्दितमहागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि, वसिष्ठवामदेवादिवन्दितमहागणपतिं महादेवसुतं महादेवसुतं गुरुगुहनुतं महादेवसुतं गुरुगुहनुतं मानकोटिप्रकाशं शान्तं महाकाव्यनाटकादिप्रियं महाकाव्यनाटकादिप्रियं मूषिकवाहनमोदकप्रियं महाकाव्यनाटकादिप्रियं मूषिकवाहनमोदकप्रियं महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि, महागणपतिम् गणनायकाय गणदैवताय गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय बालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय बालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि गानचतुराय गानप्राणाय गानान्तरात्मने गानोत्सुकाय गानमत्ताय गानोत्सुकमनसे गुरुपूजिताय गुरुदैवताय गुरुकुलस्थायिने गुरुविक्रमाय गुह्यप्रवराय गुणवे गुणगुरवे गुरुदैत्यकलक्षेत्रे गुरुधर्मसदाराध्याय गुरुपुत्रपरित्रात्रे गुरुपाखण्डखण्डकाय गीतसाराय गीततत्त्वाय गीतक्रोत्राय धीमहि गूढगुल्फाय गन्धमत्ताय गोजयप्रदाय धीमहि गुणाधीष्टाय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय बालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय बालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि Thank you.
Thank you, girls, for this warm start.
Now I request C.A. Ramanarao sir to welcome the gathering to today's event, Prajna.
Good morning, you all. The chief guest of the inaugural session, respected C.A. Parvati Kumar Garu, International President, World Teachers Trust, a very senior chartered accountant, past chairman of Visakhapatnam branch of ICI. My senior colleagues in the profession, C.A. M.V. Satyanarayana Garu, and respected senior chartered accountant, invitees, guests, and Sai Srinivas, Sitramaya Garu's younger son, and Subbalakshmi Garu, wife of Babu. Good morning to you all. I welcome you to this inaugural session of the first ever meeting of the alumni of Brahamyya and Company Visakhapatnam, titled as Prajna, being held today after 55 years of its opening. Brahamyya and Company firm, established in the year 1932 at Chennai, having offices in several states, has completed 90 years of its professional journey and has entered into the 91st year. Brahamyya and Company Visakhapatnam office was started in the year 1966 by Sri Sitaramaya Garu, and in its 55 years of journey has produced international and national recognition like C.A. Keshav Murugesh, who is the global head of the CIO of VNS, a recipient of CA Achiever Award for the year 2013 from the from our institute, and incidentally he was the chairman of NASCOM in the year 1920, and Vice Srinivas Chakravarti, Group CEO of Sriram Finance, and who is incidentally present here. And other members are successful practitioners, are in service, serving in senior positions like managing foreign investment funds. Some are settled in US, Australia, Canada, Far East, etc. I welcome you all to the inaugural session of the first ever meet of Brahamyya Visakhapatnam Alumni Prajna. I am sure This interaction will act as a revitalizer for all of us. I welcome you all. A good time and a happy homecoming. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to introduce one of our dignitaries to you all, Mr. M.V. Satyanarayana, a chartered accountant by profession. He got enrolled himself as an associate member of ICAI in February 1976. He was in association with Brahamyya and Company from 1971 to 1980, first as an audit and article student and then as a qualified chartered accountant attending to direct taxes. He had been the chairman of Visakhapatnam branch of ICAI in the year 1988-89. He has also been faculty at various branches of ICAI and chairman of technical sessions of various seminars and conferences organized by Visakhapatnam branch of ICAI. Now I would like to request Satyanarayana Garu to address the gathering.
President Ramanrao Garu, our guest of honor Dr. Parvati Kumar Garu, and friends. Two things why I am here. Why Prasanna Kumar has not come over? Yes, Professor Prasanna Kumar. We have invited him also, but he couldn't make it. And Sitaramaya Garu's intention is why he could not come to be made clear to all of us. So I'll just take 3-4 sentences to talk about it. Professor Prasanna Kumar, who is supposed to preside over this function, he has been to US for about 5-6 months. There, unfortunately, had an accident. So then he was, even at that time, he was confident he is going to recover and address us. So we took all precautions to see that he is going to sit there and address us. But he couldn't recover. So Sitaramaya and we thought it fit that we will not trouble. He's come back to India about 2 weeks back. We thought fit that we won't trouble him. So that's the reason why I'm here. And then Sitaramaya Garu had to suddenly leave to Hyderabad. So that also had fallen vacant, and his speech recorded will be relayed for our benefit in course of time. And I think we'll straight away go for the welcome by Sitaramaya Garu and your attention to Koteswara. Thank you, friends.
Namaskaram. Friends, I am Sitaramaya Vavilala, the founding partner of Visakhapatnam branch of Brahamyya and Company, started in the year 1966. I am delighted to know that the inaugural meeting of Visakhapatnam Brahamyya and Company Alumni Association is being held today. I extend a warm and hearty welcome to you all for this meeting. I am happy that Professor Prasanna Kumar, President, Center for Policy Studies, and a well-known public speaker and a close associate of mine, is presiding over the meeting. I extend a paternal and affectionate welcome to him. I congratulate the organizers under the leadership of C.V. Ramanrao for their efforts in collecting the details of so many members and planning the meeting meticulously. Brahamyya and Company has earned the goodwill of not only its clients but also the public in general for its credibility. The credit goes to late Sri Brahamyya Garu and the staff of the firm. Like all professions, chartered accountancy has also suffered some erosion of its credibility. It is therefore the duty of the present generation to put the system back on the rails. I desired to be present amongst you today. I could not do so due to the constraints of a person on the threshold of 90 years, and perhaps that is the reason I am unable to articulate clearly. I therefore request one of the organizers to present the remaining speech. I wish the function a grand success and the members a bright future in their careers. I sign off with a big thank you.
Now your kind attention to Neha, who will read the rest of Siddharamagar.
Unlike in educational institutions, in corporate and professional organizations, these meets provide an opportunity for the members to exchange their career growth details and experiences during such growth. It also provides fun and entertainment, with some members performing in programs. Several of the members have reached top positions in their respective organizations. I hope and expect the organizers to mention details of some of the significant ones at the meet. Several members have passed both the groups of final examinations of CA in single attempt. While MV Satyanarayana and CV Ramana Rao come in this category, CV Ramana Rao secured 11th and 9th All India ranks respectively in inter and final examinations of CA. Among members of this organization, MV Satyanarayana has become a successful practicing chartered accountant at Visakhapatnam. CV Ramana Rao rose to become a senior partner of Brahamyya & Co. AP and Telangana. Late VVSN Murthy Babu served as tax consultant for several public and private sector large corporate bodies and served as a member of Income Tax Appellate Tribunal. Among others, I recall Mr. Keshav Murugesh, who has become president of NASSCOM a few years back and presently a globally well-known person in IT sector. Mr. Y. Srinivasa Chakravarti, Group CEO, Shriram City Union Finance. Mr. KVS Vittal joined Seattle, a multinational corporate body, and became Associate Vice President. Sri A. Satyanarayana Murthy, who started his own business, became a prominent businessman of the city in transport and handling sector. Among others, several have gone abroad, mainly to UK and USA. It is true that the success of members in their careers depends on hard work and dedication, and the skills that they develop in their careers. However, the foundation for such success is laid at the time of initial training at the parent body. I now give a brief recap of the growth of Brahamyya & Co. Visakhapatnam branch and my contribution to such growth. With the blessings of my mentor and founder of Brahamyya & Co., Sri P. Brahamyya Garu, I had come to Vizag and started the branch in the year 1966 when I was 32 years old. The first articles apprentice was Mr. Annamaraju Satyanarayana Murthy, who is now a prominent businessman of the city. For a few years, as there was not much work for the apprentices, I used to lend my quota of apprentices to Vijayawada and Madras offices. One such apprentice is C. Murli Krishna of Vijayawada branch, who served as chairman of Southern Regional Council of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. After Mr. K.V. Ramana and a few others served as apprentices, two of the rank holders in BCom in Andhra University, M.V. Satyanarayana and Abdul Rashid, joined as apprentices. Later, C.V. Ramana Rao joined for completion of balanced period of articles, having served part of the period at Hyderabad. From the beginning, income tax consultation was the mainstay of the branch. In the initial years, friends like M.V.V.S. Murthy, ex-MP, E. Satyanarayana, chairman of Coromandel Paints, and O.S.R. Murthy of Sharda Bakery were of much help in developing contacts with potential clients. Next to income tax, besides a few listed companies, the branch conducted audits of several public sector companies including Visakhapatnam Steel Plant, National Aluminium Company Nalco, Bhubaneswar, Oil and Natural Gas Corporation ONGC, BHPV, Hindustan Shipyard, Hindustan Zinc, MMTC, Food Corporation of India, and branches of several public sector banks. The branch also acted as tax consultants for several foreign companies from France, Germany, Japan, UK, and Russia. The branch got this opportunity as all those companies were suppliers of machinery and technical services to Visakhapatnam Steel Plant, for which the firm was tax consultant. After M.V. Satyanarayana started his own practice, A few chartered accountants worked as employees to assist me in tax work, which Satyanarayana had been doing earlier. They include Achyuta Ramayya, S.V. Narayana Rao, V.S.R. Shiv Prasad, and K. Narayana Rao. Mr. Ramna Rao used to provide in-house training to the students in conduct of audit, and late V.V.S.N. Murthy Babu used to organize coaching classes for CA examination in association with other chartered accountant colleagues even before the institute had started such coaching. By 1985, after my completing 50 years of age, C.V. Ramna Rao and late V.V.S.N. Murthy Babu were admitted as partners, and they were in a position to handle audit and income tax consultation respectively. From this point of time, I started deviating from profession, except income tax appellate work and public sector audits, rendering service to the society by participating in social and charitable activities with the encouragement provided by MVVS Murthy. This widened my position in the society, and the name Brahamyya & Co. became well known in public and became synonymous with the service for the benefit of the larger society. I cherish my association with the following eminent persons during the course of participation in social and charitable activities. Sri MVVS Murthy, founder of Geetam Society, who chose me as founding treasurer of Geetam in 1980, where I retired as vice president after my completion of 80 years. I was made correspondent of individual colleges dealing with Andhra University, affiliated university in academic matters. This led later for my being nominated by AP State Government as Executive Council member of the university for over 10 years. Professor B. Sarveswar Rao Garu, founder president Gayatri Vidya Parishad, of which I was the founding vice president. He used to give considerable value to my views at governing body meetings. Sri C.S.N. Raju, founder president of Vishaka Music and Dance Academy VMDA. He chose me as founding trustee and treasurer of the trust, in which post I have been serving till date. Sri P.V.R.K. Prasad. He was chairman of Bhavans Public School for a couple of years, of which I was the founding secretary. Sri M. Varahalu Chetty, initiator of the idea of starting a public library in Visakhapatnam. He chose me as founding secretary of the society. Justice Avula Sambasiv Rao Garu chose me as founding trustee of Pragati Charitable Trust. He was the founding president of Kuchipudi Kalakshetra, of which I was the founding treasurer. Sri V.B.V. Reddy. When he was the president of Leban Shelf, I was the vice president. And during that period, we acquired a permanent building for the trust. Sri D. C.H. Tirupati Raju. My association with him lasted for more than 3 decades. And some of the projects we were jointly involved in are organization of conference of World Telugu Federation, starting and developing Bhavans Public School and Visakhapatnam Public Library, and building of Sita Ramchandra Swami Temple. Sri D. S. Verma, a worthy son of worthy father Tirupati Raju. I chose him as secretary of Bhavans Public School and Visakhapatnam Public Library in my place. He is doing a tremendous job in both the organizations, and his name has become synonymous with public library. Sri M. S. N. Raju. Initially, we served together as managing committee members of Ramakrishna Mission Ashram, Visakhapatnam for a decade, and presently are associated as president and treasurer of VMDA. Sri S. Vijay Kumar, a well-known philanthropist of the city. We are together in VMDA, Visakhapatnam Public Library and Center for Policy Studies. Professor K.C. Reddy, former chairman, AP State Council of Higher Education, one of the close associates for over 2 decades. We used to meet and exchange our views on issues of public importance. My relationship with Professor A. Prasanna Kumar is a special one. From the year 1985, whichever activity any of us undertook, the other is automatically involved. It was Sri Sri Bhashyam Appalacharulu Swami Varu who entrusted both of us the responsibility of building a temple for Sita Ramchandra Swami on the lines of Bhadrachalam temple, which we fulfilled in a record time of 3 months with the help of other friends and associates. Similarly, it was Sri Sadguru K. Sivananda Murthy Garu of Bhimli who persuaded both of us to form a trust for conducting cultural and music programs under the leadership of Nendanuri Krishnamurthy Garu, of which both of us are founding trustees. Professor Prasanna Kumar has also started a society for conducting literary and charitable activities under the name Center for Policy Studies, in which I have been actively participating from its inception as founding committee member. The above 2 seers have showered their affection and blessings on us in ample measure. Friends, this recap may look as more of a personal record, but I humbly submit that in every activity the firm of Brahamyya & Co. is involved in one way or other, especially for fundraising and secretarial work. If I am and what I am, it is entirely due to my association with the firm. In fact, I am known more as Brahamyya & Co. Sita Ramaya, and this is the only organization which I served continuously for 50 years, and I am proud of that identity. Brahamyya & Co. has since its inception 90 years ago carved a niche for itself in the hearts of people all over for its commitment to the service of the society and the ethical foundations laid by Brahamyya Garu and the values upheld by all the staff members of the company have significantly contributed to the enrichment of our tradition and culture. Chartered accountants constitute the second largest body of professionals in India, which is the largest democracy in the world. Our profession is known for its service to the nation through its service to individuals and institutions. Chartered accountants are therefore custodians of national wealth. Wealth is not just accumulation of money and property, but wealth has a higher goal to reach. As Mother Teresa aptly said, wealth, material, intellectual or spiritual, is of no use unless it is utilized for the larger public goals and human well-being. On this occasion, let us reaffirm our faith in the mission for service to the society and continue our journey on the path shown by Brahamyya Garu almost 90 years ago. I wish the meet a grand success and members to have a bright future in their careers. Thank you.
Thank you, Neha. I request the dignitaries to proceed with lighting of lamp. Thank you, all the dignitaries. Brahamyya & Co. We all have been part of this firm, but a very few of us know about its foundation and get to witness its growth. So today, we have with us C.A. Srinivas Mohan Garu, partner of Kakinada branch, to take us into the history of Brahamyya & Co. So ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Srinivas Mohan Garu with a round of applause.
Good morning. With the permission of respected Parvati Kumar Garu, I start the presentation on our firm, Mrs. Brahamyya & Company. Our firm is established in the year 32 at Chennai. Then it was called as Madras by Mr. Prajna Brahamyya, a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales. He had established offices subsequently in 1933 at Vijayawada and Bangalore. The mission and tradition of Brahamyya and Company to render quality professional service to the total satisfaction of its clients, upholding the code of conduct and ethics of the profession of chartered accountancy, to reorient to the changing industrial and economic scenario in the country in order to assist its clients to take full advantage of emerging opportunities, to continuously reinforce and consolidate its position as one of the major accounting firms in India, and also to make available to its clients its international experience, exposure and recognition, to train and equip the employees and chartered accountants to become efficient and honest citizens. Mrs. Brahamyya and Company Brahamyya and Company Vijayawada has its head office in Vijayawada, branches at Hyderabad, Visakhapatnam, Kakinada, Guntur and Tanuku, both in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. We have associate firms by the same name at Chennai, Bangalore, Adoni, Gurgaon, New Delhi and Mumbai. At present, we have 11 partners in the Vijayawada Constitution at all its branches, who are all chartered accountants with professional standing ranging from 50 to 15 years. Some of the partners qualified in the certification courses like GST, DISA, concurrent audits and forensic audits. We have wide range experience in the areas of audit, tax management, tax planning, management consultancy, setting up of management information systems in audit and computerized environment. Has a personal strength of 11 partners, 20 chartered accountants and working as employees or associates. We have over 200 other audit and administrative and support staff at any point of time. Coming to Visakhapatnam branch. The branch was started in the year 1966 by Sri V. Sitaramaya Garu at his age of 32 years. Annamraj Satyanarayana Murthy is the first article student registered in 1967. CA M.V. Satyanarayana, the first qualified chartered accountant in January 1976. CA Vasanti Raghavan is the first lady chartered accountant qualified both from our office and Visakhapatnam. Some of the alumni who gained international and national recognition. CA Keshav Murugeshan, CEO of WNS Global Services and has been the chairman of NASCOM in the year 2019-20. He is a recipient of CA Business Leader of 2013 award in the corporate sector by the ICAI. Mr. CA Y. Srinivas Chakravarti, he is working as MD and CEO of Shriram City Union Finance Limited. Then our partners also had the fortune of serving the ICAI at its help. In the Central Council, Mr. P. Brahamyya Garu was a member of Central Council and was president of ICAI in 1962-63. And Sri Nandagopal Garu, D. Sitaramaya Garu and SSR Koteswara Garu served as members of Central Council of ICAI. Then Sri SSR Koteswara Rao, Sri P.S. Kumar, Sri Murali Krishna and L. Ravishankar has served SARC as chairman. We also have the fortune, our partners have also the fortune of serving Visakhapatnam branch, Sri V. Sitaramaya Garu, M. V. Satyanarayana Garu and C. V. Ramana Rao Garu. Then our contributions to the infrastructure of ICAI, P. Brahamyya Memorial Hall at SARC premises at Chennai, P. Brahamyya Memorial Hall at Hyderabad branch, Parvathineni Brahamyya Centenary Memorial Center at Visakhapatnam branch consisting of students' classroom, members and students' computer center and library. Brahamyya and Company also sponsored Parvathineni Brahamyya Siddhartha College of Arts and Science at Vijayawada. And Sri Sitaramaya Garu at Visakhapatnam had served Andhra University as member Executive Council for 11 years. He served as member Finance Committee, Chandrasekhara Saraswati Mahavidyalaya, Deemed University, Kanchipuram. He served as founding member and treasurer, and then as vice president of Geetams. He also served as founding member and vice president of Gayatri Vidya Parishad. We have brought out a souvenir, but we missed this particular photograph because it came late to our hand. This photograph was taken on the occasion of Sastipurti of Sri Brahamyya Garu at Vijayawada. And this is the photograph of first batch of students along with Sitaramaya Garu of our Visakhapatnam branch. With this I conclude my presentation, and I offer my greetings on the eve of Independence Day, and for all of us you agree that it is a double dhamaka celebrating Independence Day and also the Alumni Day. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for taking to the history of our firm. Now, I would like to introduce Dr. K. Parvati Kumar, sir. He graduated with bachelor's degree in commerce from Andhra University in 1965 with first rank and gold medal. Graduated with a master's degree in commerce from Andhra University 1966 with first rank and gold medal. National Merit Scholarship holder for 3 years. Qualified Chartered Accountant in 1970. A sportsperson of significance that received award in cricket, tennis and table tennis. A singer with melodious voice, which he now uses for Vedic chanting and devotional singing. About his professional career, he started the Chartered Accountant practice in 1970 with the firm Ravan Kumar. Holds more than 45 years of rich professional experience. Heads the firm Ravan Kumar, which now constitutes 15 partners, more than 10 employees and 42 trainees. He was the third chairman of the chapter. A teacher by nature who inspired students to successfully complete chartered accountancy courses. Under his guidance, the firm has brought more than 170 chartered accountants in the past 45 years. Chaired many professional seminars in South India. He is a great teacher. Conducted more than 500 seminars in Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Karnataka, Orissa, Tamil Nadu. He is an author of more than 135 titles and with wide-ranging topics including among meditation, yoga, philosophy, etc. He is a great spiritual and philanthropist. He is the international chairman, the World Teacher Trust, chairman of World Teacher Magazine Trust, founder and international chairman, the Circle of Goodwill, chairman of Shankara Foundation for 25 years, a prestigious eye hospital in Andhra Pradesh, India. Founder, Master Holistic Health Foundation and Bharadwaja Ayurvedic Kendra in Bangalore. Heads and organizes Ayurvedic centers for the upliftment of the health. Chairman of Balabhanu Vidyalayam, India. Founder and Vice Chairman of Dr. N.S. Kolla School of Business. Heads and organizes Hamsavanam, a monumental environmental development project. Works for animal protection and emphasizes on cows. Founder, trustee and chairman of Bhavtarini Temple, Visakhapatnam. Chairman of Abhinaya Arts Academy, India, an organization that builds and maintains Annamacharya Mandapam. He has received many honors. I would like to touch upon few. He was deeply appreciated the vast and varied and yet profound services in professional, social and spiritual fields. Andhra University Visakhapatnam has honored him with Doctor of Letters in 1997. Honored twice by the Grand Lodge of South America, Argentina, and profound wisdom he imparts. Madras Telugu Academy honored him in 1999. With this short introduction, it's an honor, sir, to introduce you. Now I would like to proceed to release the souvenir by Dr. K. Parvati Kumar, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Now I request Parvati Kumar sir to address the gathering.
My fraternal greetings to all the professional colleagues, friends, juniors. I don't think there is any senior to me here. Yes. And then the ladies and the gentlemen and other distinguished guests who are present here this morning. Till now, it remains a mystery to me how I am brought over here by the inner impulse as my friend Sri C.A. Ramanarao, when he was speaking to me day before yesterday. As I listened to what is happening to the proceedings, there was a strong impulse inside that I must go and attend to this meeting, regardless whatever it is. Regardless means regardless the kind of health that I have. As he was narrating about the proceedings and about Sri Sitaramaya Garu and then Professor Prajna Kumar Garu, I felt someone should be here on their behalf and say certain things which most of you may not know. And those things, those facts are my relation with Brahma Company, which dates back to 1970. As I entered the profession, the first person I met from Brahma Company is Sri V. Sitaramaya Garu. We were waiting for the call from the tax officials for assessment hearing in the verandas of Income Tax Department. And Sitaramaya was so fond of cricket, he was always holding a transistor with him and listening to the commentary and following the score. So I also have had great fascination. Even today the fascination is there for cricket. So we used to frequently discuss about the players, how they are playing and how it is going to be. That's how we have become closer. That was in 1970. And then slowly it developed into a good friendship. He is senior to me by almost 10 years, but he was a very friendly person all the time. He was always smiling, very humble, full of knowledge, and yet very joyful person that I have ever met. Among those chartered accountants we had at that time, we were hardly 8 chartered accountants in Visakhapatnam at that time, and he is one of them, and the other is Sri Sriram Murthy Garu, who also belongs to this alumni of Brahma Company. So slowly we became friends. There was also one Sri Ramarao Garu who was alert to all of us, so we kept we were respecting him and keeping it at a distance. And between us, we were exchanging many good things. Then in 1971, it so happened that there was a marriage of one of the partners of Brahma & Company at Vijayawada called Sri Subbarao Garu. Just now as I opened the souvenir, I found his photo also. Sri Subbarao Garu and Sri Tandav Krishna Garu were holding the fort at Vijayawada. I was invited to attend to that marriage. I went to that marriage. For that marriage, I went for the first time in my life by the flight from Visakhapatnam to Vijayawada. My very first flight was to attend to the marriage of Sri Subbarao Garu, and he was so happy that I have come to attend to his daughter's marriage, and then he was full of joy, and ever since we had very good relationship with Sri Subbarao Garu. And then Tandav Krishna Garu, you know, there is a person sitting over there, Satyanarayana Garu. His elder brother was very close to me, and Tandav Krishna is their brother-in-law, so we happened to meet him in Visakhapatnam many times. And he was a wizard in matters of auditing and techniques of audit, procedures of audit, but a man with very few words. We used to very frequently meet between me, Subbarao Garu, Tandav Krishna Garu and Sitaramaya Garu, either at Visakhapatnam or at Vijayawada, and then the friendship grew. In fact, once when we were coming from Vijayawada by road, we thought fit to take a deviation and go to Kakinada and stay with the courtesy of Murali Mohan. So he took care of us for the night, and also for the next day he said, please stay on, please enjoy our hospitality. We had such a nice fraternal energies flowing in between. And then came a time in 1975, a client came to me from Nellore to set up some businesses in Visakhapatnam, and as he was interacting with me, he was getting more and more excited about relating to me, and I asked, what is the matter? He said, whenever I interact with you, Mr. Kumar, he was a very old man, I am always reminded of Sri Brahamyya. He was telling me that whenever he relates to me, gets the guidance and the kind of conversation that we go through, he was frequently reminded of Sri Brahamyya Garu and said, you must meet Sri Professor Sri Brahamyya Garu at Chennai. I said, Sri Brahamyya is such a stalwart in the profession, and how do I go and meet him? And he said, don't worry, he is my good friend, he said. He is from Nellore, he has many businesses in Chennapatna, that was Madras at that time, and me, the consultant was Sri Brahamyya only, and now that I set up business, I inquired from local business friends and also officials. They suggested your name, so I came to you. But having seen you, I feel that there is a strong urge in me to see that you meet Sri Brahamyya Garu. So that's how he pushed me to meet Sri Brahamyya Garu in 1975. So I went, and he also informed, his name is Sanjeevaya. So he informed Sri Brahamyya Garu that there is an young man in Visakhapatnam practicing as a chartered accountant. Whenever I meet him, I feel many qualities that you have in you, I find in him. I wish that you guide him. That's how he told Brahamyya Garu. So I went to Sri Brahamyya Garu in 1975 to his office. As I entered his office and gave my visiting card, he sent away the client which was before him and invited me into his chamber. That itself is a great, what I would say, the importance that he was giving to a professional colleague who is almost a junior to him by a few decades. Because my senior, Sri Prasad Rao, he and Sri Brahamyya Garu, they were known to each other, but he was no more Sri Prasad Rao Garu. And he started his career in Visakhapatnam in 1926. And Sri Brahamyya Garu has started the career in 1932 in Channapatnam. They knew each other. So as I stepped in, he invited me, he stood up. See, as I came into his chamber, an elderly person, he stood up and then shook hands and said, please sit down. It was all very disarming to me to meet a man of that stature. He was already former president of our institute, very well known all over the south. Brahamyya is even till now, he is very well known everywhere. And I know the air that he generates around. But he was always very simple. He was so simple, so generous, so compassionate, so friendly that we get disarmed. And then as I sat down, he opened he has a long notebook like a diary where he made note of the time that I met him, made note of the name and the purpose of visit, is professional, and then when I go he fills the time when I leave, because he meticulously keeps a diary of whoever meets him on a day, what is the time during which the meeting happened, and then what was the purpose for which the meeting took place. This was the thing, and he was maintaining it over years. When I saw that, I inquired. He said, this is a must for a professional, he said. A professional should keep his activity very transparent. Somewhere later, sometimes, if someone asks you to give some witness or give some affidavit or a statement, this book would be helpful to us. So that's why he said, I was thoroughly impressed with it. And then he said, Mr. Sanjeevaya has informed me of you. I am very happy that you are practicing. Anything that I can do for you, he said. Then I told him, thank you, sir. I have come to share, I have come here to listen to you and to gain some experience by your sharing your experiences with me. And the first question I asked him, how could he develop an office into an institution? This was my first question to him. Because many chartered accountants, lawyers and other professionals, they continue to serve as individuals, and along with them the work concludes and there would be no continuity. But here is one man who has built an institution starting individually in 1932. So what is the secret of building an institution from being an individual professional? He smiled and told me, the only way to build an institution is you have to sacrifice yourself into the institution. And he gave me the example, unless, Mr. Kumar, the seed sacrifices itself, the tree will not grow. And eventually the seed does not appear, the tree appears. So it generates its roots and then later it grows up and then the seed disappears into the tree. Like that, your energy, your time and even your resources, your money should go more and more into the organization, and you should be having the the heart to share whatever resources that you gain through profession. Unless you learn to share and distribute, an institution will not grow, and that's what I have taken to. Therefore, it's growing and it is working. That was a very good example, because no man can ever grow into a can set up an organization unless he sacrifices himself into the institution. And later he inquired about my academic attainments and then what I have been doing. It was 1 hour he gave me at that time, and I said, thank you, sir, for having given me this much of time. And this example of building an institution is what I take with me. And I try to do this in every way that as I proceed in my life. I was hardly 30 years at that time of age, and then he was beyond 60 at that time. And then he said, I am not satisfied relating to you in this office. Why don't you come tomorrow morning to my house for breakfast? That was a surprise to me. He immediately asked me kindly, if possible, come to me and have breakfast in my house tomorrow morning. So the time was fixed at 8 o'clock. So we get anxious as youngsters meeting a stalwart in the profession, inviting you to the morning breakfast. You should be on time. So I was on dot there. And he said, I'm glad that you are on time. Because normally chartered accountants, as you all know, I don't have to say. So what counts is the time. And that's what I learned from my senior Sri Prasad Rao. He never spared anyone if any person is late even by a minute or two. So we were trained to be on time. So I was on time. I was taken in. And he was narrating everything about me to his lady as the breakfast is being served. And he was also blessing me concurrently that this man will come up in life and grow and do good things. And then the lady said, don't grow too much, she said. If you grow too much in profession, the ladies at home suffer, he said. She gave me an advice, Mr. Kumar, make sure that you go home at least by 7:30, if not 8 o'clock. Don't spend midnight oil in the office like this man did all his career. He said, I would like that you grow and you be a good professional, but kindly make sure that you are also at home on time and give enough time to the lady at home. And by the time I had only one child, which was months old. You need to relate to your children, you need to relate to your lady, you need to relate to your parents. Don't have a lopsided development in the name of profession. That is what the man whom you see as a great stalwart has put all of us to. In a smiling way, she said. And Brahamyya Garu, he was smiling with his head down, slightly, his head bent down and said, yes, it's all true. To build the profession, I have neglected to some extent. But then it is a good example that you plan your day and then you attend to all aspects of life, but not remain just a professional spending midnight tallying balance sheets. During those days, we don't have computer facilities. The trial balance itself was a great task. So that was the style at the time. And imagine in his time how it could have been. So many ladies, that's why we always say that there is a lady, for the success of man, there is a lady behind. But the lady who was serving me breakfast was very emphatic about holding a balanced life. It was a very good advice she gave. Do not neglect the family, and you should give as much time to family as you give to the profession. Both are important. So that's how it went on, and it remained in me. Even now it dints in my ears when I recollect them. They were so affectionate. The couple were so affectionate and so loving, and then so friendly with a person who is almost maybe of 30 years of difference. That made a very deep impact on me. And I said, whenever I will visit Chennai, I should meet Sri Brahamyya. That's how it started. Then 76, Sri Brahamyya has come to Brahman Company, Visakhapatnam. And as he came, he stayed in a hotel, I think Apsara or some hotel, Apsara. And when Sitaramaya Garu has met him in Apsara hotel, he told Sitaramaya Garu that I would like to visit Mr. Kumar's office first and later come to our office. That was very surprising to see Sitaramaya Garu. He telephoned to me and said, do you know Brahamyya Garu? I said, yes, sir. I happened to meet him, sir, two times before. He says he will come to your office before he comes to the office that I hold for him in Visakhapatnam. He prefers to come and see you in your office. And of course our offices are, we were neighbors for a long time. Recently Brahman Company shifted to some other area. So he came to my office, he spent time in my office, and later he went to his office. I said, this is the man who captures the hearts. He functions more through the heart than through the head. This is what I have seen with Sri Brahmayya. It comes from the heart, there is no diplomacy, and then he speaks wisdom, and he speaks in such kind words that you feel attracted. You can never get out of his aura even after he leaves, because he was so friendly, so cordial, and so deeply relating to the other person. Then I also went with him to Brahman Company, and then left him over there and came back to my office. Then came an occasion for us to set up a branch of in Visakhapatnam for chartered accountants. It happened in 1977, where we needed the support of so many, and we harped much upon Sri Brahmayya. I said, we need you, sir, to set up this branch. Sri Ramarao garu, Sri Sitaramaya garu, and me, three of us have formed into a team. I was the youngest man to do the legwork and the contact work, and Sitaramaya garu and Ramarao garu were connecting to people through telephone. And in that process of setting up the branch for chartered accountants in Visakhapatnam, we also organized a South India seminar inviting people from Chennai, also from Bangalore, and one Kumbhat from Chennai also came, and also from Mumbai, on account of the contact of Sri Brahmayya. And we made sure that we have good time with them. We organized for all of them a share on the Bay of Bengal in a kind of a boat share with the help of Vice Admiral. And later we organized the next evening a good program in the university, because we know Sri Brahmayya likes music so much, and there were so many aspirants in Visakhapatnam who wanted to get into the cine field through singing. So they contacted me that Sri Brahmayya is here, it appears he is working with you for these 3 days. Will you please give us an occasion to display our talent to them? So we organized in Erskine Square, Andhra University Open Air Theatre, a dance program where all these prospective singers were presented. I was sitting by the side of Sri Brahmayya. He was sitting like this. I whispered in his ears, sir, some of them are looking for an opening in the cine field. You may pay attention and listen to them. If anyone you feel is good, you may kindly recommend them to the cine field. That's what he did it. He did it. One lady got such an occasion. He sent a letter. She joined, and up to a point she progressed in the cine field as a singer. Anything that you tell him, he listens very keen. A very keen listener. And we had such good fun. On those 3 days, we were in such a mood that we were all around Brahmayya garu and were conducting it. That's how I thought this experience that I had with Sri Brahmayya lives with me. That's why when they say Brahmayya Alumni, I said I should come. But then when Ramanrao garu has spoken about it, I felt I must come. Actually, this is the first meeting I am coming out after 2 years. Even while I was talking to Ramanrao on telephone, my son was there. I was committing to him that I will come. And my son's eyebrows, they went up. Because I don't go out of my house since 2 years. When this man says suddenly he will come, his eyebrows went up. I said, it's all very impulsive, meaning it is pushing from inside that I should go to this meeting. So when I came here, I came to know about the detail. Of course, Sitaramaya garu, we have been good friends all through. Any function that he had invited, I used to come. Any function I invited, he came. We were in such good connection all the time. I know Sitaramaya garu very well. I know Tandav Krishna garu very well. Subbarao garu. And then the father of the person who invited, Murali Krishna. They were all so very close There was a time in 84 where Brahmaya Company has taken up that I was participating in seminars and giving seminars and as a paper, not as a paper writer, but mostly as a critic. There were occasions where extempore I delivered answers to many questions. So the team of Brahmaya Company, they took me as their younger brother, and we were so close. And Sitaramaya garu only informed me and Tandav Krishna garu, we have decided to set you up for a regional council. We will set you up for the regional council. We will all work for you and make sure that you become a member of the regional council of India, that is South India Regional Council, Kumar. So kindly accept it. Touch wood, at that time, I lost my master, teacher, spiritual guru, and I had to drift even away from the profession from that time onwards. So I could not take up the responsibility of being a regional council member, which was so fondly offered to me. And the Brahmaya Company at that time, he said, we have 240 first choice votes for you. You would definitely become a regional council member. Once you select, we'll see that you become chairman in the Southern India Regional Council. I must share this love that they have shown to me. You can't hold all that. Occasion has to come to share it. So the team Brahmaya that I related with, and I rejoiced, and the time that I have spent made me feel that I should come to this meeting. And Sri Raman Rao and Sri Sasnana, they are very, very well known to me. When I was chairman of the branch here, they are the frequent attendants to the activities. Very dynamic people, both on either side, the persons that sit on either side of me, they have been very dynamic. And they have been very good support. And being in this local, Visakhapatnam was a small society at that time, now it has grown so large. Therefore, when you relate to the past events, you get nostalgic. And once I share with the alumni of Brahmaya, I would feel discharge of my duty, because I know many events that I had in relation to the partners of Brahmaya Company, and everywhere it was all goodwill, love and affection. We never had another way of, even for tax department, together we were helping them in conducting sports and other events. It's a very, very deep-rooted affection and love that we carried within us. I was so happy to see Sitaramaya on the screen here, and I wish that he gets back to good health and continue to be inspiring the people, because he has been a good chartered accountant, a model chartered accountant in Visakhapatnam. He served the society, and at the right time he retired. Me too retired. After 50 years I have come out of the office. 50 years function after, as it happened for my office, I coolly walked out. Sometimes I go to the office at the request of the partners. That should be so. So this is what I wanted to share and share with you all. By that I would feel that I have done a little service to an occasion which was so fondly organized in memory of the partners of the alumni of Brahmaya. Alumni of Brahmaya means all those who have learned things from him, who have been his students and who held the responsible positions. To them I should share whatever relation I had with Sri Brahmaya, Sri Tandava Krishna, Sri Subbarao Garu, Sri Sitaramaya Garu, and then Sri Murali Krishna. Without sharing this, I would not be doing my duty completely. For that reason I came, and I think I have done my job. I conclude the whole thing with one saying. There is a stanza in Bhagavata which says, Bhagavantundu Vishnundu evvela jeevuniki emi cheyu evadu erugu. Bhagavantundu Vishnundu evvela evvaniki emi cheyu jeevudu emi erugu. అతని ఆజ్ఞలకు మహాత్ముల విద్వాంసులు అడగయందురు అంధుల కూర్చొని. So we don't know what is in store for us. It's all planned in one way and it's happening in another way. And my being in it is being a, I would say, an account of only Raman Rao's narration. The way he narrated things to me, you felt you cannot but go there. So that's why I'm here, and I am thankful to you all for having listened to me. Thank you. We are all one community to start with, and one fraternity, which is an added thing. And then we continue to relate to each other. After all, human brotherhood is the ultimate. And then brotherhood among the professionals is most important. And we move in that fraternity and that spirit of cordiality. Thank you one and all. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. We are honored to have you here and listen to you sharing your memories. Now about a person who needs no introduction. Still, I would like to speak a few words about him. Professor A. Prasanna Kumar, Founder President at Center for Policy Studies, Visakhapatnam. He is retired Professor of Politics and Rector of Andhra University. He is also a member of various committees constituted by UGC Andhra University. He has successfully guided 25 research scholars for PhD and is an author of various publications on textbooks on politics, international relations, and several articles in journals and newspapers. He was an excellent tennis and sports commentator on All India Radio, interviewing various top sports celebrities on All India Radio. Now I draw your attention to Mr. Prasanna Kumar.
Respected Sri Sitaramaya Garu, Sri
Friends, I think we have taxed Parvati Kumar Garu more than the time we are supposed to. He didn't express it, but we could notice it. And I could notice it from the eyes of his son sitting there. So automatically body relation takes care of it. So we would be happy, sir, if you so feel, you can retire.
Respected Sri Sitaramaya Garu, Sri Raman Rao Garu, and alumni of Brahmaya & Co. Chartered Accountants, Visakhapatnam. I feel greatly honored to have been invited to chair this meeting, Prajna, when we
just for a minute, may I request the delegation
respected Sri Sitaramaya Garu,
whether Prasanna Kumar is there or not,
Sri
we got to respect
Raman Rao
him.
Garu,
All the more we know that he is not there.
and alumni
I don't know
of
how many
Brahmaya
of you
&
know
Co.
Prasanna Kumar.
Chartered
Any subject
Accountants,
he speaks, you will be
Visakhapatnam.
attracted for it. And let me
I
tell
feel
you, it is not
greatly
minutes,
honored
it is not hours, days
to have been
together you'll get
invited
attracted.
to
So it's only just a little time, let us give it to him and hear. Thank you, friends.
Respected Sri Sitaramaya Garu, Sri Raman Rao Garu, and alumni of Brahmaya & Co. Chartered Accountants, Visakhapatnam. I feel greatly honored to have been invited to chair this meeting, Prajna, when we celebrate the achievements, the contribution, and the service to society of one of the premier bodies of chartered accountants and auditors in India. I am grateful to the Alumni Association. I am grateful particularly to Sitaramaya Garu, who is one of the most respected elders of the city of Visakhapatnam, if not the state of Andhra Pradesh. He is widely respected for his deep understanding of issues, ideas, and institutions. All of us are grateful to him, especially the people of Visakhapatnam, for his magnificent role in building institutions, educational institutions, cultural bodies, and social institutions. We all know he has been associated with all these bodies in different capacities, as a member, as a president, as a vice president, as an advisor, and above all, as a humble participant in the activities that enrich the culture of Visakhapatnam and the heritage of our Telugu-speaking people. Chartered accountants constitute auditors, the second largest body in India, professional body in India. According to Wikipedia, there are nearly 20 lakhs of members of the Association of Chartered Accountants and Auditors in this country. Their role is not only to deal in matters relating to finance, both public and private, especially the business houses, but they have diversified their activities into the field of service also. Therefore, they enjoy high credibility for their significant role ever since Brahmaya Garu, the visionary, started Brahmaya & Co. almost 85 years ago. Now, these professional bodies, they constitute a very important component of the society, contributing to development in many ways. I am reminded of the famous words of Nani Palkiwala, an authority on taxation in India, and one of the most brilliant minds India has produced in the last century. Rajaji very famously said, Nani Palkiwala is God's gift to India. And Palkiwala himself used his enormous gifts and talents, endowments, gifts in the sense his ideas, his intellect, his intuitive wisdom, all these he placed in the service of the people. He was a devotee of Mahaswami of Kanchi, and the Mahaswami of Kanchi, in fact, gave him very valuable advice as regards the service. And I think, if I am not mistaken, some 20 crores of rupees or so, a huge amount, Palkiwala donated to the eye hospital in Chennai, Badrinath Eye Hospital, as part of his service to society. Therefore, I am quoting Palkiwala on this occasion as far as chartered accountants and their role is concerned at this wonderful function where the members of Brahmaya & Company, the alumni, meet not only to celebrate the day, the function, Prajna, but also to rededicate themselves to the task of social and local development in their own way by widening their activities. Taxation is a very interesting subject. In fact, when Palkiwala said, I quote from his book, his famous book of Palkiwala, a wonderful passage which will definitely interest all of you and also those who hear my comments. I must first of all apologize for not being able to personally chair this function because of a fracture I sustained recently, and my mobility has been considerably curtailed by it. Still, it is my pleasant duty to share some of the ideas as far as taxation is concerned, as far as the role of chartered accountants and auditors is concerned. So, in a way, I thought, being an admirer of Nani Palkiwala, I quote a few lines from his famous essay, a preface to the 1990 publication of his book, in which he said that the Indian income tax had had its glory in 1985 when a wonderful budget was presented by Mr. V.P. Singh. All of us know that Palkiwala's speeches on the budget were more eagerly awaited than the budget speech of the finance minister himself or herself. Therefore, Palkiwala's addresses were so largely attended, the venue was small, and they shifted his addresses to Brabourne Stadium, the famous cricket stadium in Mumbai. And it was rightly said that even cricket matches did not attract so many people who sat for so long as Palkiwala's addresses on the budget. The day in February every year, the finance minister presents his budget. The very next day, if not that day itself, Palkiwala would summarize it, analyze it, and explain it to the people in most simple, lucid words, laced with his enormous wit and wisdom. He was one of the finest speakers India has produced, and who was honored not only in India but abroad, especially in the United States. The Yale University conferred an honorary doctorate degree on Nani Palkiwala. I'm mentioning a little bit of this on this occasion relating to Palkiwala because it will inspire chartered accountants, young chartered accountants especially, and auditors who have taken to this field to rise to great heights by studying, by lecturing, by reading, by interacting not only among themselves but with the larger society. That is why Palkiwala, speaking on this occasion, which I have referred to, he said, the tragedy of India is the tragedy of waste. Waste of national time, energy, and manpower. Tens of millions of man-hours crammed with intelligence and knowledge of tax gatherers, taxpayers, and tax advisors are squandered every year in grappling with the torrential spate of mindless amendments. The feverish activity achieves no more good than a fever. I am mentioning on this occasion Palkiwala's very stringent, strong criticism of the Income Tax Act of 1961, which he called a national disgrace, because the Indian Jurisprudence Act, mutilated by more than 3,300 amendments in less than 30 years, has been a disgrace to the nation. And therefore, he said, the Indian tax system has been considerably spoiled by, for instance, I am quoting him, two things strike the student of Indian income tax law with trepidation and amazement: the precipitate and chronic tinkering with the law by bureaucrats who are unacknowledged legislators of India, and the anesthetized patience of the Indian public. Truly, we Indians are a low arousal people. We endure injustice with unfairness, with feudalistic servility and fatalistic resignation. The poor of India endure inhuman conditions which would lead to a bloody revolution in any other country. The rich endure foolish laws and maddening amendments which benefit none except the legal and accountancy professions, and instinctively prefer to circumvent the law than to fight for its repeal. Taxes, look at this beautiful sentence, taxes are the lifeblood of any government. But it cannot be overemphasized that the blood is taken from the arteries of the taxpayer, and therefore the transformation has to be accomplished in accordance with the principles of justice and fair play. Therefore, every government which has a right to levy taxes must be checkmated by the people with the help of chartered accountants and auditors. The misery and harassment to the taxpayer and the gnawing feeling that he is made the victim of palpable injustice must be corrected immediately with the help of intelligent and active auditors and taxpayers. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly the role that taxpayers expect from people like you, members of this Alumni association would do well to bear in mind that you have a responsibility not only towards your client, not only towards the businessman, not only towards financial matters, their management, not only towards matters relating to chartered accountancy profession, but more importantly, you are involved indirectly in the development of the nation, social, economic, and political also, by educating the people on the importance of awareness of tax problems and the way to remedy the situation. Therefore, the responsibility, especially, look at the way he chastises the bureaucrats. The bureaucrats become unacknowledged legislators. Therefore, they take law into their hands, twist it to suit the convenience of the government. Though not all of them, at least many of them, according to Nani Palkiwala. Therefore, the association of chartered accountants must educate the people to be cautious in their dealings with financial matters, and whenever they have a problem, they must come and seek the advice of the auditors and the chartered accountants. Because you will agree with me, the business of government is governance, but governance is a very large term. Governance is not simple government. That is why, as somebody said, what is the difference between government and governance? Government is the goal of democracy. Good governance is the goal of a good society. We must build a good society, and in building a good society for good governance, the role of citizens is very vital. And the role of citizens becomes crucial when they are engaged in the task of self-correction. Self-correction in the sense, government cannot correct itself. Therefore, we must enable the government to correct itself through what in political science is called self-correcting equilibrium. That equilibrium is facilitated by the advice and the guidance of chartered accountants. Because all said and done, as it is very rightly said, government depends upon taxes and considers taxes as the lifeblood. But this blood is taken out of the arteries of the taxpayers. Therefore, it is the people whose blood ultimately is the victim of injustice, whose arteries are exploited by. It is a responsibility of the Alumni Association to help society in ensuring that the blood taken out of the arteries of the people in the form of taxes is properly utilized for the good of the taxpayers and for the good of the larger society. Therefore, on this very important occasion, I congratulate Sri Raman Rao Garu and the members of the Visakhapatnam Association in organizing this very important meeting and function. And this should be, I think, a very important turning point in the history of the association in Visakhapatnam. I wish the members of the association every success in their efforts to improve the situation and to ensure that the taxpayers are not victimized and that the government does not cross the Lakshman Rekha. These are two very important things that should be borne in mind. Thank you very much for a very pleasant opportunity I have been privileged to receive from you. I am grateful to you for all that you have done. I once again offer my sincere and deep regards to Sitaramaya Garu and homage to Brahmaya Garu once again, because please remember, Brahmaya and Company has built a tradition in Andhra Pradesh especially. I must recall on this occasion that institution.
Friends, mark my words, I have not heard Prasanna Kumar during my life where I was active for more than 50 years on this subject. First time I am hearing. If you hear him for the other subjects, you would not leave him. And why did he come here? His love and friendship for Sitaramaya Garu. That's the only reason why he has agreed. And if you look at his state, his physical state, what happened in US, the doctors said you cannot do any activity in India. He agreed there readily, but when Sitaramaya Garu asked him to prepare it, this also he agreed readily. It's only the love he has for Sitaramaya Garu and through Sitaramaya Garu to all of us. So in absentia Roundra Garu, we thank him.
I'm extremely happy and feel privileged to send you this message.
Thank you very much.
On the happy occasion of celebrating the 50th anniversary of Visakhapatnam office of Brahmaya and Company.
For the Master of Ceremonies,
happy because of my association with you all.
And thanks sir for making his presence felt even though he couldn't attend the program. Moving on, CA PS Kumar Garu, a senior most partner of Brahmaya & Co, is going to give us a message through a video recording.
My dear colleagues and friends, I'm extremely happy and feel privileged to send you this message on the happy occasion of celebrating the 50th anniversary of Visakhapatnam office of Brahmaya and Company. Happy because of my association with you all. I'm privileged because I follow a long line of very dedicated and distinguished senior chartered accountants who had contributed to the growth of the firm and enhancing the reputation of the firm. I particularly remember the contribution of C. V. Sitaramaya Garu to the growth of this office and the special place he occupies in our hearts. Having enjoyed a vast amount of respect that we command as part of Brahmaya and Company in the professional and commercial world, I must acknowledge the fact that I am the recipient of something valuable and precious by happening to be at the right place at the right time. I dare say that this places a tremendous responsibility on us, that is, those of us who are third or fourth generation in the firm. It has been the credo of those who had preceded us to work tirelessly and selflessly for the welfare of the firm and in making the firm an institution commanding the respect of the public at large. To paraphrase the words of a past senior partner, it's everyone's duty to ensure that the firm is a little better when we leave than when we joined. Traditionally, we at Brahmaya and Company had never measured our success in terms of the income. As far as I can remember, our coin for reckoning has always been quality of work we're expected to perform ahead of the money we earned. This has stood in good stead for us. We have still clients who have been with us for 5 decades or more, or even more actually. We have also had a major presence in the affairs of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Some of us have served with distinction in various government-appointed committees, which is a sign of recognition of our merit. We have achieved a lot. However, a lot more is required to be done if we are to retain our premier position in the profession, especially in the present-day scenario. The profession is facing challenges, as you are aware, that we had not been exposed to in the past. The challenges are many on many fronts. There is an intense competition from larger organizations who have global reach and immense resources. Although we may not be able to compete with them in terms of size, we can certainly compete with anyone in terms of qualitative aspects. What we need is a self-belief and a leap of faith. As we all know, the profession has changed in its contours. It's more technology-driven, and in order to face the competition, we must adapt ourselves to the new environment. Already, artificial intelligence is being talked about as a threat. Blockchain and distributed ledgers could be a blessing. Data analytics should make audits faster and more efficient. It requires a lot of investment in time, money, and effort to stay ahead. It can be done if all of us put our minds and hearts to it. When I say all of us, I mean at every level, since the work we do is a collaborative effort with contribution from everyone in the team. Thanks to the internet and electronic communications, there is an immense amount of guidance available from the from various sources, including the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. The Institute has emerged as one of the most efficient repositories and dispensers of knowledge. While there is a definite explosion in the quantum of knowledge required to perform our duties, there is also an availability of reasonably priced tools and powerful electronic data search facilities. These are the days of not only knowledge explosion, but also days of specialization. It's no longer enough for a firm to remain in the traditional areas and still feel secure. As some of the traditional areas are being shut off to us, new areas are emerging and opening. These are the days of specialization and making available different skills under one roof. This can take different shapes. Networking is permitted and the multidisciplinary organizations are permitted in principle. And we, of course, Brahamyya and Company, have known in the past to have annual meetings and so on. Getting into formal and informal affiliations with like-minded firms can give the Indian firms a lot of upskilling. While this is a general scenario, we at Brahamyya and Company collectively have a lot of breadth and depth within our organization. We have our strengths built over a number of years. It's only a matter of harnessing them. I'm honored that I've been asked to send a message on this happy occasion. I would like to congratulate the Visakhapatnam office, the firm, and everyone who is or has been a part of the firm, present and past. I wish you all a great future. Thank you.
We are thankful to Sir for giving us his message. Now, I would like to invite T.V. Ramana Garu, partner of Vijayawada branch, to address the gathering. Today, we recognize the presence of Srimati V. Subbalakshmi Garu, wife of V.V.S.N. Murthy, popularly known as Babu. I would like to welcome her onto the stage. And I request Katyani ma'am to present flowers to Subbalakshmi Garu. Thank you, ma'am. We also recognize presence of V. Sai Srinivas Garu, son of V. Sita Ramaya Garu, the founder partner. I would like him to call on the stairs. And to do the honors, T.V. Ramana Garu.
Friends, it was our honor to honor Babu's wife, popularly known as Babu. Most of you don't know who Babu is. He's there right in front of us. And they say, Mr. I don't know, I forgot, Harigaru, close your ears. Any case he takes up, no defeat. It has to be won in favor of the SSC. And believe it, it is by virtue of Income Tax Act only. It doesn't defeat anyone else by anything else except by income tax, his capacity to present the subject. That was Babu. And probably God wanted him for some other job in some other world. That's the reason why he has been called abroad. We thank you, ma'am, for your presence here. And we thank his brother also for his presence here. Please continue.
Now, we would like to honor alumni who were with Vishakhapatnam branch since its establishment. I welcome onto the dais the first article student of Vishakhapatnam branch, Sri Annamaraju Satyam Narayana Murthy Garu, also known as Satyam Garu. And to present the bouquet, P. Sunil Kumar Garu.
Wherever, sir. Please.
Thank you, sir.
Would you like to speak, sir? Thank you. And MOCs wait for a minute. Every time the audience goes, they require special attention from our side. Friends, don't think of Satyanarayan Garu as Satyam. Today, he is the biggest transport contractor for steel plant. Had he done his CA, he would have been like me at the mic. And if you want any big thing to be transferred from steel plant anywhere, he does it. That is his greatness. And he still thanks his connection to Brahmayas. Thank you very much, sir.
Now, I welcome onto the dais the third article student of Vishakhapatnam branch, Shri P. Sai Kumar. And to honor C. Srinivas Rao Garu.
And I used to have my article training, my knowledge from Sai Garu. And one thing I did not get from him, smoking cigarettes. God's grace. We thank you very much, Sai, for being with us.
Now, I welcome onto the dais the first employee of Vishakhapatnam branch, Shri SRK Murthy. Okay. I request C.V. Ramanarao sir to honor the first employee of the Vishakhapatnam branch.
మూర్తి గారు 2 నిమిషాలు మాట్లాడతారా? Friends, you know why all these claps are? We used to get a stipend from him. That's the reason we used to revere him and be frightened of him also. Understood. It's understood. Please continue.
Now, Chairman of Vishakhapatnam branch of ICI, Mr. Vasudev Murthy, would like to present a bouquet to Ramanarao sir.
Vasudeva Murthy garu told me one thing, it's not meant for all of you, only for Ramanarao. Thank you very much, sir.
Now I request Ramanarao sir to now thank the audience.
No. చేశాను వినపడుతుందా మీకు? సో అంటే నేను ఇప్పుడు దాకా కట్టేసుకున్నాను, తెలుగులో మాట్లాడతాను మీరు పర్మిషన్ ఇస్తే. ఇన్ఫార్మల్ మీటింగ్ కదా. నేను డాక్టర్ పార్వతీ కుమార్ గారిని నిన్న పొద్దున్న 9:30 ప్రాంతాల్లో, సార్ మీరు ఎలాగో వస్తానంటున్నారు కదా, వచ్చినప్పుడు మాకు స్టేజ్ మీదకి ఎక్కి మీరు మాకు మెసేజ్ ఇవ్వండి సార్ అని చెప్పి అడిగాను. ఐ నో ఐ వాస్ ఇంపోజింగ్ ఆన్ హిమ్ బికాస్ మా రవిశంకర్, మా చెన్నై పార్ట్నర్, he was diagnosed with COVID పాజిటివ్ నిన్న పొద్దున్న. సో ఆయనేమో he could make it. అందుకని పార్వతీ కుమార్ గారిని హింసించబడాల్సి వచ్చింది. బట్ బికాస్ ఆఫ్ హిజ్ లవ్ టు బ్రహ్మయ్య గారు, he has taken the trouble, great trouble, and has come and addressed us, explaining narrating his experiences with Brahmaya Garu and Sitaramaya Garu. No, these are the things which, as a part of Brahman company, we never knew. And hope mostly even Ravi Shankar, Ravan Kumar partner, they must not have heard about this thing, but Rengi it is revealing. So I thank him profusely. And Prajna Kumar Garu, when he was in States, when I spoke to him, when I sent a message to him, he said, yes, I am honored to address you. I'll reach Visakhapatnam by 11th, so I'll be there. By that time he underwent an operation, but he was hopeful that he would be able to come personally and address us. But when he returned to Visakhapatnam, and then we were contacting over that cell part. So then a couple of days back, we went to him, and then we saw him, then we felt that we will not be doing injustice to him for this thing. And then he said, okay, I'll give we can persuaded to him to give his address through a video recording, and then that's what we heard. So I thank Prajna Kumar Garu for taking the trouble of addressing us through a video recording. I thank him. And I thank our senior most partner, Chennai. Incidentally, he's son of Brahmaya Garu, for sending us a video recording. So I thank him in absentia. And I had to thank him, I had to thank M.V. Satyanarayana Garu, my senior in profession, and for taking the trouble of filling up the gaps and conducting the proceedings. Thank you so much, Satyanarayana Garu. I thank all the senior chartered accountants, past branch chairmen who have taken the trouble of coming here and then gracing the occasion. I thank them all. I thank Sai Srinivas, Sitaramaya Garu's son, and Subbalakshmi Garu, or beloved Babu's wife, for coming and gracing the occasion. I thank them all. And then I thank all the alumni members, but the people who have come from Canada, Dubai, etc., and for physically come, and then who have sent their video recording. I thank them for making this event becoming a first memorable experience for all of us. And then I had to thank Murdula. She has initiated the idea of meeting, and Vamsidhar for taking up the initiative to gather details, etc., of alumni. And then here T. Srinivas, Y. Srinivas Kumar, and then Lakshmikant ma'am, and other Srivalli who have used their contacts, etc., so that now our alumni has grown up to nearly 300. So I thank them all for making this thing. And Kodeshwar Rao is our technical person for taking up this thing. Now I think people who must be seeing virtually this thing, and it includes our Sitaramaya Garu at Hyderabad. So he's very eagerly looking into it. And then I thank Kodeshwar Rao for all his technical effort. And then Hotel Dolphins, for as usual, for making the necessary arrangement which are comfortable. And then you must be holding, everyone is holding a souvenir. This is brought out by Manmohan Sales, Manmohan Printers. So very nicely, they have attended to our calls at the last minute and then made it this thing. So thank you so much. Thank you. In fact, we wanted to have a cafe break except outside, but you know, when some things go up, and then we definitely will go out. Satyanarayan Garu is correcting me, because some people are, I thought there is a change in this thing. We'll enjoy a cup of coffee, and then for freelance session, we'll meet in 10 minutes. I thank one and again. Thank you so much.
There, Sitaramaya. Next day morning, I went to him through some common friend was there. He introduced me to Sitaramaya. He immediately asked me to join in the office. I was very fortunate to have his grace on me. Because of that only I was here in Visakhapatnam and among you also. I worked there first. Aggressive Ramanrao Garu took me for filing company returns at that time in the month of October. I joined there. Later, a few audits were, I attended a few audits under him. After that, S.Y. Narayana was there looking after income tax matters in those days. And when he left the organization, I was given the opportunity to look after the income tax part. There I learned the fundamentals of preparation of statement of total income, listening from the SSC, taking information, and looking after the books of account and other things. At the same time, Babu got also qualified in 82 November or 83 May, I think. I closely worked with him for 3 years. I am preparing the drafts and other things. Babu used to write it, then we used it to go to Sitaramaya Garu for final correction. In 86, I started my own practice and left the Brahmyan company, but not the association with Brahmyan company. So whenever I need any suggestion on company law and other matters, Ramanrao Garu used to help me. And till his last breath, I met Babu many times for his advice. I used to ponder over the subject for 4 or 5 days regarding the problem with various alternatives, and when I met Babu, within few seconds he used to give the solution just by referring to bare act of the income tax only, not even any commentary or any notes and any other things. His intellectuals were like that. Even just 15 days before he passed away, he was suffering with fever. I do not know. I met him. I said, Baba, I will come later on to discuss the matter. But he said, please let us continue for some time, and I took 30 minutes of his valuable time at the time. Along with another of my client, I went, we discussed with him for half an hour, and then we went back. Later we came to know suddenly he got sick and I saw him in the hospital. So I was very much attached to Babu. In Brahma and Company we were working with him. Later I was fortunate to be associated with Sitaramaya Garu. I was taken as a member, junior, youngest member of Gayatri Vidya Parishad and Educational Society, and Sitaramaya Garu was founder vice president of the organization. Till a couple of years back, he used to attend our all meetings, and I was also in the meeting. I sat along with him and learned many things from him in the Gayatri Vidya Parishad. So my association with Brahma and Company is such, and whatever I learnt about practice, it is from Brahma and Company only, and it helped me in practicing since last 36 years. Some 30 to 40 article students have studied under me, 10 to 12 students qualified, and I can never forget Brahma and Company in my lifetime. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity.
Now, I would like to invite CA Vasanthi Raghavan, who is the first female chartered accountant from our firm and from Visakhapatnam as well. She will be addressing us through a video recording.
Hello, Prajna Meet attendees. Let me start by thanking the organizers of this meet for giving me the opportunity to speak with all of you. I was told to share some of my experiences in the different countries that I have worked in the US, Canada, Singapore, and Latin America. And I'm going to start with my experience in my first audit as an article clerk at Brahamyya and Company. Like any article clerk, I was told to go and review and verify all the journal and sales entries that were posted in the company being audited. Diligently, I checked every number and made pages and pages of notes. Near the end of the audit, Mr. Raman Rao called me and he said, Vasanthi, let's start reviewing your notes. I need to summarize for my audit purposes. I showed him all the pages of notes. He quickly flipped through all of them and was done reading them in less than 5 minutes. I was highly surprised as to how come he had no questions for me. Later on, I looked at his notes and I realized that most of the notes I had taken were relating to differences about 5 paise and 10 paise and 15 paise, which were really insignificant in the big picture. And this was actually a lesson to me on the importance of materiality. And this lesson has stayed with me throughout my life. Thank you, Mr. Raman Rao, for this important lesson. Once I completed my CA, I joined the project finance department of IDBI, and my first assignment there was the computerization of the bank records. The accounts were being maintained manually in huge files that were called binders. These binders were sometimes so heavy that we had peons who would come and pick it up and leave it at our desk and then take it back once we were done working on them. This project took about 2 years to complete, and I swear, at the end of the project, I actually lost arm muscle because I had stopped lifting the binders. I'm sure this is one of the most unusual results of a computerization project. On completion of this project, I moved on to the investment management wing of the bank. My experiences there were varied. I traveled a lot, but I'm not going to get into any of that in this particular thing. I'll save that for another session. I then decided to switch careers, moving on to the design of financial systems and implementation of them. My first project was in Singapore. Work culture at Singapore was very different. People there tended to stay till the boss left, no matter whether they had work to do or not. I was not used to that, and every day I would leave at around 6 p.m. when my work was done. My Singaporean colleagues would look at me and say, "Leaving already?" And I would say, "Yes, leaving already." From Singapore, I moved to Canada, where the work culture was the exact opposite. Here, work-life balance was critically important, and nobody expected you to work more than the necessary 7.5 or 8 hours. And if you were working more than those hours, That meant that you were either inefficient in your work or your boss was giving you more work than was allowed, and hence the inefficiency in his processes. Other than the problem with the cultures, usual problems of communications have always been encountered. For example, when I first went there, I would say 2 into 2, meaning 2 multiplied by 2, and my users would look at me with a puzzle fashion. For them, 2 into 2 meant 2 divided by 2. I had to learn to say 2 times 2. Similarly, the famous Indian wobble. I would nod my head saying yes, and then the people I work with and my colleagues would laugh at me and say, Vasanti, are you saying yes or no? Your mouth says yes, but your head is saying no. Which one is the true answer? Long story short, there are differences in culture, in languages, in all the countries. But one thing I found is that the accounting principles remain the same. And the foundations for that were laid during my days at Brahamyya and Company. I would therefore like to take this opportunity to thank Sri Sitaramaiah and Sri Raman Rao for giving me the opportunity to work with them and all my colleagues that I work with. I'd like to thank you all, wish you all a good day and best wishes for the future. Thank you.